then that strengthens their case if Penn State actually does go out here and have a good season. But like I said, man, this matchup is just so you know what I'm saying, intriguing. You know what I mean? What is Drew Aller gonna do in his third year as a starter? They have a nice duo of running backs that people have spoken about highly. Are they finally gonna get on track? You spoke about Julian Fleming going over there. Is Julian Fleming going to live up to his billing that he had when he was coming out of high school? Can Drew Aller put him in position to make those type of plays? All in all, I think most people would say the thing that has kind of hurt Penn State overall is the fact that the last couple of years their offense has not been able to match the intensity and the level of execution that their defense has. And I think most people will say, hey, that's been the issue. So will this be the year that Penn State plays like a complete team? Or is it
Mm.
going to be a team where one side of the ball ends up dominating the day? Because kind of going back to last year, most people talk about that Michigan game where Michigan in the entire second half, said, hey, look, we're not going to put the ball in the hands of, J.J. McCarthy, we're going to run the ball.
Mm-hmm.
Now, you think about a situation like that, if Michigan was playing a team, a Penn State team where Drew Aller was a C.J. Stroud or something like that,
Mm-hmm.
that type of that type of game plan goes out of the window because you'll be talking about a guy that will put so much pressure on the defense from a passing ability. So that's more so what I'm kind of looking at. Again, on paper, the talent, Penn State probably is a much better team than West Virginia. But we always have to go back to the portal. I always got to go back to the portal. We always have to go back to kind of what's going on right now. And West Virginia is a formidable opponent. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, but I go ahead and make my selection. I'm probably gonna ride. Yeah, I'm going to go with Penn State on just on the mindset that I feel like that perhaps Drew Aller finally at least looks somewhat of a semblance of what people lauded him as when he was coming out of high school.
Oh, I must say, this game goes back. This game has a history. There's a history with this matchup, y'all. I be doing my homework because y'all know I'm a college football noob, but I be doing it. I'm telling y'all, I be researching. This game goes back all the way to the 1980s, y'all. They have played each other throughout the years, throughout the seasons. They played last year, September the 2nd. They played last year. Penn State won that game, 15-38. They played in 1992, 1991, 1990. This is a rivalry game. You can say that, right? They get it in. Pitt, West Virginia. You know what I'm saying? I know that's a rivalry game, but I mean this is a brawl. You feel me? This is Penn State versus West Virginia. They real close. We real close, right down the road from each other, right? Drew Aller last year in this game, y'all threw for 300 yards, three touchdowns, for over 300 yards and three touchdowns. He was 21 for 29 in this game, right? Nick Singleton, he carried the ball well for over. He had 70 yards. Katron Allen had 50 yards in this game last season. Um, Now the thing is, right, is the defense. The defense of, are these guys there, right? Are these guys gonna be there? That Penn State defense, you know what I'm saying? Is Kobe King gonna show up like he did? Curtis Jacobs, I don't think he's there. Uh Jalen Reed, these guys, or these guys gonna show up for them because West Virginia, y'all, Garrett Green, like how you said about Garrett Green, he was only he was six for 27 last year in this particular game, because they did play each other last year. So this is a rematch. But they were able to run the ball on Penn State. Let's not get that twisted. Let's not forget that. They were bad. Penn State wound up pulling off on them. They did. They passed the ball on them. So West Virginia's weakness, they couldn't get to the quarterback. They couldn't get the Drew Aller. They couldn't get enough pressure on him last year. The cornerbacks let up some yards. They probably shouldn't have let up because, like I said, Drew Aller threw all over them boys last year. He had a hell of a game because they were able to run the ball well against West Virginia too. But like you said, West Virginia was able to do that. C.J. Donaldson's coming back. He was killing Penn State. He had 18 carries, 81 yards, and he had a touchdown. Garrett Green had 15 carries, 71 yards, and a touchdown. And he's coming back this year with the same thing. This is going to be a very good matchup. I must say that to you, bro. Like, I gotta admit, this is another one of them good matchups, and that's why I threw it on the board, right? Um, this pick to me, y'all, this is going to be, and shout out to Raw, man, because this game right here is definitely going to be huge for the Big 12, huge for the Big 12. And they're giving West Virginia 8.5, right? Penn State, I got Penn State being one of the better teams in the Big Ten. I'm going to roll with Penn State in this game. And I think that they cover the 8.5, but I don't want to. I just don't. We just don't sleep on the West Virginia, man, and what may happen, man, because this game could swing the other way fast and easy, man. Because I mean, Garrett Green another year on his belt. What Penn State know what they did. Abdul Carter, I think, should be able to help out on that defensive line and neutralize what's going on, man. But you just never know with this because they got their running backs coming back. They got their quarterbacks coming back. Um, West Virginia's defensive backs and that defensive line have to get to Drew Aller and get him off rhythm in order to pull this game off. But I gotta go with Penn State, man. I gotta go with Penn State. I gotta go with Penn State, bro. He said trucking. Thoughts on my last two comments. I didn't see him at the Mazzano. Let me read them. I think last year's Michigan team is going to be an anomaly. I don't think another team is going to visit just win a national championship just based off their running game. You're just going to win that. I don't know. I don't think another team is going to just win the national championship based on they were able to do that with defense and running the ball though. They're gonna have to they're gonna have to be great at both the passing game and running game, not one dimensional. Who's that? Who are we talking about? Penn State knew, yeah, like I get that. I get that. Like I get that studio. They do coaching staff. I think there was like they had some good hires, but I think things is going well for Penn State with those new hires too, though. Because I'm up this way, and you hearing things like these players have bought into them younger. There's some younger guys on the staff that just went into coaching younger. I can't get the coach's name. I could pull them up, but I know exactly what you're talking about. But I think James Franklin, Franklin got the right guys in the right place at Penn State, bro. I think so. And that's why I have Penn State as being one of the better Big Ten teams. Like dark horse word. I know a lot of people like to throw that around and use that in terms, but Penn State absolutely can. I think they could play with the best in the Big Ten, bro. I really do. I really do. And I think this game will show that. I think last year's Penn State team, I think Drew Aller's a lot better than what people give him. I like Drew Aller. I like the quarterback. I like Penn State. Um, and maybe my bias a little bit in this game with them, but I'm not sleeping on West Virginia and what they can do, bro. I'm not. I'm just not, yo. I'm just not. I'm not going to sleep on what West Virginia can do. I'm not. They are good. West Virginia's good. They run the ball well. They only lost a center, right? Their center. They lost their center to the Pittsburgh Steelers. That was it. But I think they bring back some good guys. I like that game.
To kind of comment on what Anthony brought up, and I've said this before. These games are going to be based on matchups. You know, um, to decide who's going to win a championship. I kind of go back to the game played early last year when Texas played Alabama. Texas wasn't just supremely successful, running the ball against an Alabama, but they were able to pass the ball efficiently. So they seemingly, in many aspects, kind of won that game from a one-dimensional standpoint. Same thing kind of goes for when you play Washington. Washington was not a team that was just from a defensive standpoint very just stout against the run. And their offensive line, even though they ended up winning the award for the best offensive line,
Mm-hmm.
and when they played Michigan, it looked like Swiss cheese. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So again, a lot of stuff is about it really comes down to matchups at the end of the day. And that's why I think when you got a 12, see, and this is why I like the 12 team, but then this is why I don't like the 12 team because you could